And welcome back to UTAU tutorial part 3, the last one, and how to make an UTAU. So there's a few things that we need to make an UTAU. Not only do we need UTAU, which we already have, we need a recording software thing. I'm using Audacity, but you can use pretty much anything else, and a hiragana chart. I have this one here. I'll put a link to it. So to get started, what we need to do is we need to go to our program files. So here it is. And then in UTAU, go to the voice folder. Remember how we put all of our voice banks in here? Well, what you want to do is you want to make a new folder and just put the name of your UTAU as the title. And don't put anything else in it. I already have mine here. Don't worry about these excess files. So now what you need to do is you need to look at your hiragana chart. I'm going to be teaching you how to make a CV voice bank, not a VCV. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it right now. So, because I already have the basic sounds recorded, I'm just going to do a sound that's not really necessary. So, yeah. What you want to do when you record is you want to make sure all of your sound samples are on the same pitch. I'm singing mine on C#. If you need to do this, you can find an online piano and have it play a note and then just use that as your reference, or if you can keep a pitch in your head, go for it. But they can't be on different pitches, or else it'll sound kind of weird. You also can't do "go away." Sorry. This is not the right way to do it. You don't want to start on one note and end on another. It needs to be the same note. I'm just doing dwa because I have nothing else that I can really record. It's a good example note. So here I go. Dwa. See how short it is? It doesn't need to be very long. The length of the note for when you record will determine a little bit about how your UTAU sounds. The longer the note, the airier your UTAU will be. The shorter, the more robotic. So now that I have this straightened away, I'm going to cut off a bit of the excess space. This will make things easier in a minute. And I'm going to save it. So you find wherever your folder is, and I don't want caps lock on. I'm going to save it. You need to save it as a WAV file, or else it won't show up in UTAU. So now I'm going to open UTAU, and here's where the fun part begins. Now, normally what you do is you'd record all of your stuff, and then you do this. Since I already have all my stuff recorded, I'm just skipping straight to this. Remember this thing here that I said that we'd actually get to? Well, here we are. So here is the thing that I just recorded. Now, do you also remember that Japanese keyboard? Well, this is how it's going to be in handy. All of your file names are in English, probably, unless you're doing them in hiragana. That's okay too. However, if you have a voice bank that's in Romaji, it's not going to be able to read hiragana files. If you have a voice bank in hiragana, it won't be able to read Romaji files. So you need to alias. That's what this thing is. This is alias, and then we'll come to the number stuff in a minute. So with this Japanese keyboard, I am going to... That's not right. Okay. I'll figure out what it is later, but... So I'm just going to do that for right now. So I have dwa. You need to set whenever you do anything in here, or else it'll go away. So, see this? Now we're going to auto it. If you don't, some of you might know what it is, some of you might not. An auto is a file that UTAU has that's kind of like their fingerprint. Every UTAU needs one. Well, some of them don't have any and they sound fine, but they really should have one. But you can't take a UTAU's Oto, like, let's say I have Teto's Oto. I wouldn't be able to plug Teto's Oto into Sayu Yurika's Voicebank. It won't work. It will mess everything up. Now, really, go away. So, I'm not going to do an intense Otoing thing because I Oto voice banks differently than a lot of other people. But the gist of it is that you drag the pink, and then you go back and you drag blue. Blue will get rid of empty space. You put the red where the vowel starts, and you put the green on the consonant. And then you go back and put the blue there. It can get a little bit more complicated. And then you hit this button. See how we have stuff in here? We have to hit set again. You can't, you have to hit set every time for the alias and then the Oto. For some reason it doesn't register otherwise. So that's a little bit about Otoing. And honestly, in my case, because when I Oto, it can get a little bit more complicated because you have to stop and you have to go back. It takes a long time to Oto a voice bank. I am not going to lie. It takes me quite a while. But you get better. Now, you might be wondering why we have little dots here. Well, they're not dots, they're more of circles. This is because every time you have a phenome, that's what these are, and you play it, UTAU creates a little, like a little, I don't know how to describe it, but it creates like a file that says like what it is, and so that when every time you use it, it doesn't take 10 billion years to load. I will show you after. Yeah, okay. So you have to hit OK, obviously. So here is what I just added. So watch this. See how it doesn't take a very long time to do ah, but now we have all of these numbers over here. It's taking a long time. It's creating the FRQ file. Once you have one, you don't need to create a new one. The exception is if you go back and re-record something, you need to get rid of the FRQ file that existed, or else it'll sound bad. Just trust me on that, it will sound bad. It'll sound like you have wrong notes going everywhere. Well, that's just a brief rundown on how to make a voice bank. If you have any questions about this or anything else, or you want a different UTAU tutorial for something, just ask me, and I will see what I can do. And that's really it. If you need help finding voice banks, I will do my best to try and help you. So, yeah. Bye.